annual Garden State Film Festival. This year, we have over 200 films and film centered events from various countries, all happening across 9 venues from March 26th to the 29th this year. Today, I am here with writer director John Gray of the short A Guest in My Country. John, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you today?
I am very well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me. So, please tell our audience a bit about your short.
Well, we kind of got the idea for this because my wife and I spend a lot of time in Manhattan, and we often take Ubers and Lyfts and cabs. And we always make it a point to talk to our drivers and try to get to know them a little bit. And many of the drivers are immigrants. And we are often so amazed at their backstories. How they came to this country, why they came to this country. Um, and in particular, we're always kind of amazed at what they did in their countries that they came from. And so, so often we talk to these drivers, and it's like, well, I was a pilot in my home country. I was a pharmacist in my home country, and now they're here driving, a ride share. And so we just always that always kind of struck us. Uh, what these people have given up and sacrificed to come here. And there's also an old expression. I'm not really sure who said it, but it's something that really has always resided in me, which is this idea that everyone's fighting their own battle.
Mhm.
So when you see somebody behaving badly or somebody you don't understand why they're acting this way, I always try to keep that in mind. Everyone has got the inner thing that's going on with them that you know nothing about. So those two things really, gave us the idea to do this film, where this kind of upscale couple call an Uber to go across town, and then what happens in that with the immigrant driver and this couple who think that they're liberal and that they know exactly what to say and how they're supposed to think and feel, but it all kind of gets turned around during the course of this ride.
Mhm.
So that was sort of the genesis of it.
Okay. And, with that, what would you say was the most difficult of putting what you've experienced in real life and then trying to, or I should say, creating something from it and putting it on the screen?
Well, I mean, I've done a lot of short films now, so I feel like I've kind of gotten used to the short film sort of template, in
Perfect.
terms of how to get a character across, how to get ideas across in very, very short amount of time. This film is 15 minutes, I think.
Mhm.
And so it's a challenge with every film we do, is, how to do that, how to make the audience care. And, the best compliment we can ever get is when someone in the audience says, I can't believe that was just 15 minutes. I feel like I just watched a feature. So we strive for that. We want to get that, that reaction. And so in terms of like the story and the script and all, it came together pretty quickly and very naturally.
Mhm.
And then this cast, of course, really elevated the material. Bayo Akinfemi is a fantastic actor from Nigeria. Noah Bean, of course, is very, very well known and a wonderful actor. And Bree Turner, of course, from Grimm, is a tremendous actress. I worked with her in the past. So once you get a cast like that, then your job becomes even easier in terms of guiding the story. And they were just so wonderful. And what helped us too is that we shot it because normally when you're making a film, you have a normal scene in a restaurant or out on the street or wherever, and you break it down into coverage. Like, I'm going to do a wide shot, I'm going to do a master, I'm going to do an over. But here you've got three people in a car for most of the film. And so what we found worked best for us was just to do it almost like a play. And so we just did like a full 11 or 12-minute take over and over again. And then we would change angles. But basically it was wonderful for the actors because they could do it as if they were on stage and just go through the entire piece beginning to end and have that natural arc of the emotions, which normally you're shooting a scene. Well, okay, now we're in the middle of this. We're shooting something from the middle of the movie, so everyone has to remember where they are, where they were. But here we could just do it as a piece, and that was really helpful for the actors. And it was also a challenge because most of the film takes place in this Uber driving through Midtown Manhattan at night. So I knew that we couldn't really ask our cast and crew to do that for real, to be in a car driving in Manhattan at night.
Mhm.
Just the technical thing of having to do that with a tow car, or cameras on the car, in the car, it's so time consuming, and it's not really. We don't pay very much for our short films. We it's always a labor of love, and so we couldn't really say, okay, we're going to do a night shoot from 8 p.m. till 6 a.m. or something.
Mhm.
So we found an LED stage in Los Angeles in Burbank, and
Oh.
so we shot the entire driving scenes with a plate, a three-dimensional LED plate of Manhattan. And I think it worked out really well. I think most people don't realize that that's what it is because you're focused on the actors. But it was a tremendous, another thing that just made it more realistic for us to do it and be able to do it in a practical way.
So where is it? Because you're saying, oh, it's a short and it's a labor of love. It sounds like you're having, this like you found these actors that are from other countries, and you like where is it you found your actors, and how far do you go when you film? Like where is it that you're from? Are you from Los Angeles and that's where you
Um,
filmed?
yeah, I live in New York and part
Okay.
time in Ireland. But I spent most of my career, in Hollywood, doing feature films and television shows,
Mhm.
and so most of my acting contacts and crew contacts are in LA. So
Okay.
often we do these short films in Los Angeles because it's just easier to get everybody there. And we have two casting directors who are wonderful, Russell Boast and Debbie Manwiller, who I've worked with for many, many years. And so we try to do one short film a year. So they come on board and we talk about who we want to get. And oftentimes I'm just reaching out to friends of mine I've worked with. Other times I don't have anybody in mind and they come up with lists. And, not every actor wants to do a short film, but you'd be surprised at how many really well known actors, if the material is good, particularly if you're giving them something that they don't often get to play. I think they really respond to that. And you're only asking for 2 or 3 days out of their life. And so we've been very lucky in our short films, with the actors that we've gotten. And Bio is from Nigeria, but he was living in Los Angeles. He's a full-time actor in Los Angeles. He also teaches acting at USC. So we didn't have to go to Nigeria to find him. He found us in Los Angeles.
No, that's amazing. I just you're saying like, that you're in Ireland and you're living in New York, and so it seems that you are very well traveled. And so like I would love to know, you know, where is it you love to, or if you have anywhere in mind that you've ever gone before to film or haven't been to film that you would like to.
Yeah, well, we also use these short films kind of as an excuse sometimes to go somewhere and make a film in a
Yeah.
place we love. We did one in Paris. We did a little spy thriller in Paris, which played Garden State. And last summer we did a crime thriller here in Ireland. And we might do one in Rome next year. So we just love to find excuses, to make a film and go to these places. And the truth is that originally I'm from Brooklyn, and I come from a very working class area in Brooklyn. And honestly, had I not gotten into the film and TV business, I would probably still be in Brooklyn. I would probably not have gone anywhere. And it's only by virtue of being a working filmmaker of these past 30 some odd years that I've been able to go all over the world, making films and getting exposed to different cultures. And it's just been an amazing run for me to be able to do that, and I really am grateful for the film business because I don't think I would have had the appetite or certainly not the resources to travel as much as I've done.
Oh, that's amazing. Like with that though, so this film that you have here is about people from other countries that are coming to our country and leaving behind their careers to do something that we perceive as, so simplistic as, ride share. What is it that you're looking for your audience to take away from this?
I think it really is that sense of, don't judge people. Don't think because you see someone behave a certain way that you've got them, because everyone is fighting their own battle. And you see someone who's driving a car, and so many people are dismissive of these Uber drivers. They don't,
Mhm.
they kind of look down on them. They don't really pay attention to them. But so many of them have fascinating stories and came from these fascinating backgrounds, sometimes very tragic stories.
Mhm.
And it just, I guess the big takeaway is just take a moment to get to know people. Just ask a question. Where you're from, how's your day going, what's your life like. I mean, as comfortable as you are, with those kinds of questions. And so it's always about promoting understanding and tolerance, and just trying to get to know the struggles that another person might have.
It's such a pleasure to speak with you, just in that I can tell how integrated in this industry that you are with the amount of knowledge that just comes from you.
Oh,
And with that, you're saying you've been doing this for 37 years. Is that what you said? 36,
well,
37 years?
almost 40.
Almost 40 years. Don't look a day over 25.
Right. You're right.
But what I'm getting at though is, what would you like? What piece of advice would you give yourself almost 40 years ago? Or, because we have so many people coming into the Garden State Film Festival that this might be their first, entry. This might be of their first few years. So
Right.
what's
Right.
something that you would tell yourself or to them?
The advice to give to anybody
Mhm.
is to never give up. To believe in your, and it sounds like a cliche, but it really is critical. Because the business is really all about rejection. Um, the film and TV business runs on fear. So the rejection is stunning and constant. So you really have to be strong and believe in yourself and just never waver. And no matter what's thrown at you, go for it. And what I would tell myself, if I had a chance getting started, I would say don't be so fearful. When I first got started, I was afraid of new things and afraid of the unfamiliar. And that's why I meant, if left to my own devices, I may not have traveled anywhere.
Mhm.
But because I got a job where I have to go shoot a miniseries in Rome, I'm
Mhm.
going to do that, even though I might have a lot of conflict about leaving, and I got to, leave the familiar things I know. And
Mhm.
so that's the thing. I mean, just don't have fear. Don't let fear stop you or hold you back, and just be confident and believe in yourself, and continue. Always be working. Always be making a movie. When I was coming of age, there were no iPhones. There was no digital anything. But now, and I always say this to students, everybody's got a film studio in their pocket.
Yeah.
So there is no excuse for you not to go out there and make a movie. And so that to me is the critical thing as well. Just have stuff to show. Find a way to make a 5 minute piece, a 10 minute piece. Get people to help you. Uh, it's just a crucial thing to just keep working, writing. If you want to be a writer, just keep writing and writing and writing.
Well, thank you so much, John, for taking this time with me today. I would love to speak longer, but unfortunately, we're just about out of time. And I will
Sure.
say, your little co host that you got there with you has been fantastic because he has not
He's a
bothered
good boy.
once to,
He's
to
a
get
good
your
boy.
attention.
He's a good boy. Yes. Yes.
Will I be
That's
seeing
Ziggy.
you in person at the festival this year?
Yes, I'll be there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everybody, a guest in my country will be screening at the Asbury Hall on Saturday, March 28th from 9:15 to 11:30 p.m. We hope to see you at the Garden State Film Festival this year with over 200 films screening across 9 venues, including hosting parties, panels, events, and more. Get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets. John, thank you again so much. I'm so looking forward to meeting you in March, and have an amazing time in Ireland. I'm so jealous.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Bye.